Hey, my beautiful lost souls, welcome back to another tarot reading, influencer version. So today I wanted to do a tarot reading on Mr. Prada. Nobody really asked, but I wanted to do it because literally like a couple of hours ago, it was reported that a therapist was found deceased in a ditch, wrapped around in tarp. And he is a person of suspect in this homicide case, right? He was caught on surveillance footage, like hours later, shopping and riding around in the car that is registered under his therapist's name. So he's the person of interest at this point. And now a lot of people have a lot of things to say. You know, Mr. Prada, if you don't know who he is a TikTok infamous influencer. He's very popular, which I was not expecting. Like when he was first coming up on the scene, I didn't think he was going to get this popular, but he was very popular. What do you do? What does he do on TikTok? You may ask. He steals people content on TikTok. Yes, I just wanted to lead. Let's rip the Band-Aid off, okay? Because clearly a lot of people have trouble understanding the concept that two things could be right at once. Yes, y'all, he is infamous for stealing people's content. He'll do like relatable videos like POV, right? The POV videos was a popular thing that started on TikTok. POV, say your boyfriend just cheated on you and you just went through his phone. POV, like relatable content, right? POV, what's relatable? POV, the teacher calls on you for an answer in class when you weren't paying attention, like relatable stuff like that, right? And so he was exposed a while, like he's been exposed, because numerous, and he would do this numerous times. It was like a massacre. He was on numerous occasions taking content that didn't apply to him. A lot of it involved like especially woman content. I forgot exactly what it is, but a lot of people seem to forget he stole content that he had no relation to, like serious intimate content about like, oh, POV. It was something really insensitive about SA. If you guys know what that stands for, go search it up, SA. And also, you know, content relating to women's periods, which is not a joke. Okay, it's not funny, but he like stole that kind of content. I can't remember exactly what he said. But whatever, right? He was really infamous for that. And you guys want to know something? Even though he's been called out for this shit, and you know, one thing social media content creators don't play about is stealing their content. And there's nothing wrong. Okay, you want to steal their content, that's fine. But he wouldn't give credit or nothing. He would steal content and brand it as his own, right? Somehow he was still able to build a career. All right, warning, the volume may be a little bit high because y'all said y'all couldn't hear me last time. So baby, volume is all the way up now. But yeah, so everybody was kind of like, oh yeah, well, he steals content, so what? It's not that serious, right? So somehow he still had supporters and he was still able to build this type of content. I also want to add that as he stole this content from numerous creators, he didn't steal from me because I wasn't really on TikTok like that at the time. But you know, as he was being called out, as numerous creators came out to call him out on his shit, his response was basically, fuck you. You know, he literally said, F you. I hope go to hell. Like, you know, like he would say crazy things. He would curse them out, because they would be upset for him stealing their content. Like, it very weird. And again, his fans are delusional. Somehow they still support him. Anyways, right? Months and months later, you know, he's kind of been on he's slowly but surely started to become inactive on the platform. He's not really uploading as much. And then one random day he pops up and there's a drastic change, right? People are noticing that mentally he is not all the way there. He's going through a mental episode. It's giving Britney Spears. He shaved his head, his eyebrows. He's acting a little bit erratic and irrational and maybe a little bit delusional. I think he came out and said that he has been diagnosed with, I think, bipolar disorder, and I studied psychology, so I feel like I'm somewhat classified to speak on this. But he's been, I'm not sure if he said schizophrenic. I pick up on schizophrenia, maybe paranoid schizophrenia. And this is all intuitively. Now, I'm going to add my intuitive 2 cents before we continue real quick. But he has been diagnosed. I think for sure he said he's been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Schizophrenia, if he didn't say that, then I'm going to assume he has a little bit of schizophrenia. This is all alleged. I am not a licensed anything. But with my knowledge, I've studied psychology for like about a year and some change. With my knowledge on psychology, I would say he's showing signs of schizophrenia, paranoia. And schizophrenia is classified as one of the disorders where it It messes with your perception of reality, basically. And he seems to have a distorted view of reality. So that's why I'm saying that. But moving on, right? He came out on social media and he looked like completely different. He was spiraling on social media, and a lot of the people whose content he stole came out and was like, look, we don't feel bad for you at all. Like, this is what you get. Like, I was praying on your downfall low key. Like, you kept stealing my content. You didn't give. Like, sometimes he would steal the same people's content numerous times and curse them out if they dare to, like, step up and be like, yo, you stole my content. Like, that's not cool. At least give me credit. You know what I mean? And he would just curse them out. And, like, basically, he's not a great person. He's not a horrible person, but he's not the person we should be dying on a hill for, right? And his fans came out and was like, oh, how dare you? Like, you see he's going through something. Like, how could... And then I made a video on TikTok and I said, look, y'all, my 2 cents is that personally, nobody owes you sympathy, especially if you have wronged somebody in the past, if you have crossed their boundaries, if you have done something to them that they didn't like, they didn't appreciate. Nobody owes you sympathy. And it sucks, but it's the truth. We owe you decent respect, sure, but if you've disrespected somebody else, like, all bets are off. You know what I mean? So yeah, everybody was like, oh, how could y'all? Like, this is fucked up. And I'm like, no, he's a terrible person. Like, he stole content that was very insensitive, things he did not relate to and didn't give credit. And then when people called him out, he cursed them out and his fans fed into his ego. And now that he's spiraling on social media, we should all feel bad for him. So, it was very divided opinions on his spiraling on social media. There were people that were like, oh my gosh, I hope he's okay, like, being very empathetic towards him, which is nice. And then there were other people who were like, look, at the end of the day, he wronged me in the past, I didn't appreciate his behavior, his pattern of behavior in the past, therefore I don't owe you sympathy. You know what I mean? It's fucked up, but it's the truth. If you've done something fucked up to somebody in the past, they don't have to feel sorry for you. So moving on, right? Basically from that point on, he continued to spiral on social media. He would have up and downs. Like, some moments he would really seem out of it, like having an episode. A lot of people are saying he's having like a manic episode, which I think I do think he suffers with bipolar disorder as well. But schizophrenia, like, bipolar does not mean that you have a distorted view of reality. It means you may have trouble with communication, understanding things, like, stuff like that. It's a mood disorder. Bipolar is a mood disorder. Schizophrenia and other stuff, it's not just schizophrenia. I can't exactly think of all of them off the top of my head, but perception of reality, like, I think he has a distorted view of reality. And it seemed like he was also going through minor schizophrenic episodes. So he would continue to spiral on social media. He would post these really cryptic posts. One time he posted something like, and I remember seeing this back then too. He was like, practicing for my mugshot because I'm really about to, if somebody does one more thing to me, I'm about to off somebody, right? And the sound that he used was Tiana's I'm Almost There. I love that song. I'm almost there. All right, so that's what he posted, right? And it was really cryptic. But moving on, months later, right, it has now come out that he is the number one suspect in a homicide from a therapist. Now let's get into it. Here's my real thoughts and opinions on this current situation. Now, everybody, let me just also add for context. This therapist has been accused of SAing a minor, an 11-year-old minor. A lot of people are assuming that the person that he SA'd in the past was him. The victim came out, but the name, the identity of the victim was never released. And a lot of people are saying, well, he's a known SA'er, like, so if Mr. Prada did actually off him, like, well, it's kind of justified, right? It's a lot of assumptions. Nothing is concrete. But I'm not going to negate that. I'm not going to say that the victim back then wasn't telling the truth, because the victim came out in 2015. It was like, 2015 was how many years ago? I think about like 9 years ago. So I'm not here to say if the victim, I always believe victims first. So I'm on the victim side, period. If a child is coming out and saying, yeah, this person did that to me, they're not lying. Why would kids lie about that, right? So I do believe that. Do I believe Mr. Prada was the victim? Possibly, but we don't know, y'all. Everything is assumptions. Here's what I will say, right? Because let's talk about the public's opinion on this. Everybody came out and was like, wow, like he was really going through something. And there's been a lot of mixed opinions, but majority of the opinion is that, oh wow, he was spiraling on social media and y'all sat there and y'all laughed at him and da 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 da. Like y'all should have helped him. Like he was really he was calling for help and y'all laughed at him. Let me tell you something. This is my thoughts and opinions. Two things could be right at once. We laughed at him because he's a horrible person. Because when he was stealing content, he didn't have empathy. He didn't show no sympathy. Still to this day, he has not apologized for taking all those people's content. And he's been called out time after time after time after time. And he still has not apologized. Instead, he said, F you, go off yourself. You know what I mean? F you and F your content. So why are we now expected to turn around and give him empathy? That's not fair. You know, the point still stands. Now, do I think you should be wishing harm on somebody? No, but wishing karma and they get what they deserve, that's okay in my opinion. So two things could be right at once. We laughed at him because he's a horrible person. And if you want to die on his hill, that's completely fine. Now, do I think that, you know, all of this should have happened to him? And no, but if somebody wants to view your downfall as their karma and feel vindicated, there's nothing wrong with that. Number two, what the hell was we supposed to do? We're all struggling. It's fucked up, but that's a part of life. We're all struggling in this thing we call life, right? We're all dealing with things. What was we supposed to do when he was calling for help? Put on our Superman capes and fly over to Louisiana? We can't do that. There were many people who offered him help and support. Like, let's not act like the whole world hated Mr. Prada at one point. No, because somehow, some way, and I still don't know how to this day, but he connects with a certain audience, and that audience, he has a large support system, a large fan base, right? So, like, what was we supposed to do? Yeah, we laughed at him. Duh. He laughed at other people when, you know what I mean? He was copying like very insensitive, like he was making very insensitive content. Like, what was we supposed to do when he was calling for help? Why didn't y'all help him? Like, was we supposed to, you know what I mean? Switch into our Spider-Man suit and come save the day? Let's be for real. But that's all I had to say. Anyways, now let me intuitively read on the situation, right? This is the intuitive portion of the reading. This is me using my third eye and my psychic abilities to get an assessment on his mental state and what I think is going on. Now, as I watch Mr. Prada's videos, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I think that there is a demonic, and I don't want to say demonic, but a negative entity that is attached to him. I do think that there is some sort of multiple, because when you are vibrating at a low frequency constantly, you are opening the gate and you are making yourself vulnerable to entities who are already drawn and who are already, you know, attracted to such low state. They feed off of that negative energy. I think, and I'm not saying he's possessed, but I do think that he is battling with a lower vibrational negative entity that is, I don't want to say taking control, but it may influence his way of thinking. And that is my own spiritual assessment on the situation. When you look at him, even when he talks about his persona, right? He does this thing where he low-key kind of dissociates, right? I don't know if he has multiple personalities, but in some videos he's seen wearing a mask and calling himself by a different name. I do think that there is a negative entity, maybe multiple, that are now attached because he's already vibrating at this low vibrational state, especially people who have been through SA, you know, people who have been through assaults of many forms. You are unfortunately more vulnerable to lower vibrating entities that negatively influence your way of thinking, right? A lot of people who aren't spiritual, they're not able to decipher which thoughts are their own and which thought is not their own, right? Especially when this entity begins to cohabit, you know what I mean, with your spirit. It's like you're like the blur between what's your way, normal way of thinking, and what's not, is it's be starting to become a blur. And even just look at his social media, you know what I mean? He has the X crossed on his eyes and a big wide smile. I do think that there is a lower vibrating negative entity that is attached itself to him. And I think, I don't want to say he needs to be saved because I'm not a Christian, but I think that I think that he needs a spiritual, like, he needs some type of work done on him. Like, seriously. You know what I mean? I don't even want to say an exorcism, but it's giving that, right? This is just my own intuitively speaking, because there is something attached to him. Whatever it is, I'm not sure, but he's battling with this thing. So, I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. It's all alleged. Now, let's get to the tarot reading. All right, so y'all know how I do, or if you don't, I read on current energy first because, you know, it's my first time reading, so I got to get into the energy, okay? So, Mr. Prada's current energy. Already, I'm in his energy, and let me just say, it's a lot going on. It feels like, I feel like all over the place, like scattered, like Mad Hatter. Like, this feels like, have y'all ever watched Alice in the Wonderland? Like, this feels like the Mad Hatter, like just too much shit. Like, there's too much going on. The Hierophant is here, so I think this represents authorities. Okay, this usually talks about an authoritative figure or somebody over you, a handler, a parent, somebody who has more power than you, or just simply talking about traditions, things that have been in society for a while. So something about tradition or an authoritative figure being in his life is significant. The Death card is here. Now in this case, we could take this literally and spiritually as well. There is a spiritual transformation. Like, he's going through a lot. He's going through, like, unstable, I just keep hearing that, like, unstable transformative period. Like, he's not who his state of mind, his frame of mind is changing constantly, and it's a lot going on overall. The Moon card is here, secrecy, lies. Yeah, so there is something going on that he is trying to keep away from the public. There is something he's trying to run away from. I didn't even mean to say run away. There's a lot going on. Anywho, the Temperance card is here, so there is a need for balance, stability. Yeah, like trying to be calm in the midst of a storm, like trying to, you know what I mean? It's a lot of waves going in the beach, and you're trying to stand tall. Like, it's a lot going on. He needs to find balance and stability within all of this. The Eight of Wands. He does have the tendency to act on impulse, very impulsive. This talks about passion, being in the heat of the moment. King of Cups, going through emotional situation, trying not to drown in emotional abyss, feeling various amounts of emotion. Four of Pentacles talks about no money. So money could be a struggle at the moment. Trying to save money. Okay, running out of money. That is something that's here. The Empress card is here. Feminine. A feminine energy is here. Also talks about fertility, abundance, and manifestation. Seven of Cups. Temptation. That's what I'm hearing. All right. King and Queen of Pentacles. So, oh, and the Knight of Pentacles is also here as well. So money usually is not a problem for him, but at the same time, so he could just be really worried about his finances at the moment, or trying to maintain his finances, because the Four of Pentacles doesn't mean you're broke, but it means that, you know, money could be running low pretty soon, and you're trying to make sure you get good, stable income. Ten of Pentacles. Yeah, so money is looking stable. I guess he's just trying to make sure he doesn't run out. Not sure. The Hangman, viewing things from a different perspective, flexible mindset. And the King of Swords, making an ultimate decision. What's going on? All right, so let's ask the burning question. The Three of Swords is on the bottom of the deck. The loss of a relationship, connection, heartbreak, emotional distress. And the Six of Cups, money. Let's ask the burning question. Did he or did he not off his therapist? Or I don't even know if that was his therapist, but the therapist. Did he off that therapist? Did he that therapist? All right, so The burning question, did he or did he not off that therapist? He's going through a lot mentally. Like, it's a lot of turmoil. It's chaotic. This energy is. All right, so did he off the therapist or not? You guys, the answer is looking like yes. And he doesn't know how to control his emotions. He does have a mood disorder. I'm getting he feels a lot of things. Like, he's the type of person, like, he'll act on impulse, which explains him wanting to cut his hair, his eyebrows. Like, it's not even more so. I do think it is a way of him. So, well, a lot of people, when they cut their hair, their eyebrows, a lot of people think, they look at it in such a distorted view, like, oh my gosh, you're really going through something. Yes, but also when people cut their hair and their eyebrows, it represents a transformation, right? Usually when people cut their hair, it usually represents how they feel on the inside. It's them showing on the outside their transformative metamorphosis, basically, right? That's why when a lot of people, like, for example, some people, they cut their dreads. A lot of people cut their dreads because, cutting your dreads or cutting your hair represents a release. And so him cutting his hair was meant to show his release, his transformation, the new him, how he feels, right? He does not know how to control his emotions. And let me just pull the cards out. So the Knight of Swords and the Knight of Swords and the Eight of Wands. If he did kill his therapist, it was in a heat of passion. It wasn't premeditated. Let's just say that. Okay? So boom, you heard it here first. This is all alleged. I don't think it was premeditated. I don't. I think it was in the heat of the moment. Maybe the therapist did something, or maybe he was thinking back to when the therapist did something and he was like, you know what, fuck it. Like, you know what I mean? I'ma just do it. So it wasn't premeditated. I don't think he's like sinister. Let's throw that out the way. I don't think Mr. Prada is a sinister person and this is something that he planned and he always wanted to kill. Like, no. But it's more so, I'll do it if I have to. You know what I mean? I don't want to do it, but I'll do it if I have to. I'll do it if I feel threatened. I'll do it if you piss me off. If you deserve it. King of Cups is here. Very emotional person. He's very emotional. What's his zodiac sign? I was trying to find his real name, by the way, but I can't really find it. I don't know if it's Terion, because that's another name he goes by. But yeah, the King of Cups is here. The Emperor is here. This talks about a male, an authoritative male, usually somebody, a masculine figure who is in power. Money, okay, just really almost kind of like a father figure, really stabilizing force. I do think this represents the therapist. Moving on, Page of Wands is here as well. So yes, it gives me in the heat of the moment kind of thing. The Lovers card is here and the Devil card is here as well. Like I said, there are claims out there that the therapist that, is now deceased was a perpetrator of SA on a young victim. I would believe it, especially with the Lovers card here and the Devil card. I don't know what his relationship with his therapist was like, but I wouldn't be surprised if certain things happened, if y'all get what I'm trying to allude to. Okay, the Tower card is here. Yes, so this talks about the aftermath, right? His world is colliding, okay? He just made a huge, like, this isn't a joke. You just made a huge decision, and I see, like, everything's falling apart, and in the midst of all of it, he's trying to run away. He's trying to escape. It's not gonna work, though. Unfortunately, you'll have to face the consequences of your actions. But his world is crashing down right now. It's a lot going on. The High Priestess, this talks about listening to your higher intuitive self. I don't know if he was listening to his higher intuitive self. This also could represent, the person who's shuffling to listen to your intuition. And intuitively, before I even pulled the cards out, I was hearing the answer yes. So yes, I do think he did it. Now the Hermit card is also here. Isolation, self-reflection. So I do think he may feel very lonely at this point. Lost, confused, uncertain, just spending a lot of time alone. He's on the run, possibly. The Strength card is here. How can I describe the Strength card? Having to endure a lot. Like I said, his mind is like, I don't know. I'm not going to say I would hate to be in his mind right now, but I would hate to have a mind like his. It's like you're being trapped inside of yourself. Like, I don't know how to describe it. I do think he's battling eternally with something spiritual. The Nine of Swords is here. Yeah, he's not having a great time. His mental health is extremely dangerously like low. And like I said, when you are vibrating at that low of a frequency, you are subjecting yourself to possible entities that want to come in and take advantage of that. The Five of Cups, loss of connections, could be with this therapist or with others as well. And the Queen of Cups also. So he does have masculine and feminine energy and very emotional person. Next question I want to ask is, why did he do it? Why did he? So now that we know that the answer is yes, why did he kill his therapist? Why did he kill his therapist? All right, so why I just keep hearing like I don't even know, like intuitively when I asked the question, why did he kill his therapist? I just kept hearing like, I don't even know, man. Like, I don't even know. So I don't think he has a definitive answer as to why he did it. Maybe he will in the future, but right now it's too much going on. Like, his energy is very chaotic. It's a lot going on. Seven of Swords though, he will very much feel very defensive. I think he will defend himself when it comes to offing his therapist. I do think he'll say something like, I had a very good reason to, you know what I mean? It's not like I just did it for fun, I'm not crazy or anything, but nah. But I hear him saying like, it's not like I was just doing it all willy-nilly, like I have a very good reason. So he may feel very defensive in this matter, or when the time comes to defend himself, I think he will defend himself. The Two of Cups, this does talk about them. So I do think he knows this person. I do think that was his therapist at one point. Okay, nothing has been publicly officially confirmed, but I do think he did obviously know this person. He has talked to his therapist before. The Four of Wands also comes out. Like possible romantic connection, not exactly sure. Three of Swords came out as well. The ending of a connection, could be romantic, I'm not sure. Seven of Swords, lying, deceivery, trickery, selfishness. Page of Swords, yeah, like premature thought, premature idea. I'm not sure if he even knows his damn self why exactly he did this, other than I just like it was in the heat of the moment and he was doing something I didn't like something like that. Because a lot of people are, assuming that this was on some revenge type shit. Like, a lot of people are assuming he did something to him in the past, SA, and he has, now basically got his lick back, right? And I'm not negating that could be the truth, but like I said, this wasn't premeditated. It wasn't premeditated. It was in the moment. So, and the Tower card, obviously we know what this represents: a canon event, catastrophe. Yeah, the Moon card, what's going on? But yeah, pretty much that's it. Now let's see once and for all, what is he dealing with mentally? What is he going through? Is there some type of negative entity that is attached to him? What is going on? Let's answer that last question. All right, so mentally, again, the Hermit card is here. He may feel very isolated within his own thoughts, very alone, singled out. The King of Cups, just very emotional. I see the bipolar now, like very, like I know that sounds crazy, but I feel it. Like I'm in his energy. I do feel it. Very emotional. Sometimes he can emotionally overreact to certain things. Just a surge of emotions he does not know how to handle or work through. Seven of Pentacles is here. He may feel unsatisfied with his current career, where he's at in life, career wise or financially. He may be unsatisfied. The Justice card is here. I do see the legal system on his okay. They are definitely looking out for him. They're keeping an eye out for Selena. Okay, they on his ass. Okay. Yup, Ace of Cups, very emotional again. Nine of Wands here. Now, for some reason, I hear paranoia, which goes back to what I said. Paranoid, schizophrenic. Like, I do think he has the potential to be very paranoid. If y'all don't know what paranoid schizophrenia is, it's usually, you know, sometimes it looks like people who are always paranoid constantly. It's a consistent thing, consistently paranoid that somebody's watching them. Usually it could be the government, police, somebody they don't like. All right. The Tower card is here. Things are falling apart. So mentally, he's going through a lot. They're not telling me exactly what's going on. The Knight of Wands, impulsivity, acting on the surge of emotions. The Hangman, very mind is all over the place. Let me just say that. Not going to say what I really want to say. The Knight of Swords is here. Acting on impulse, not really thinking through your actions. Yeah. Lets me know everything. So, okay. Did he off that therapist or not? Yes, I would say yes. And was it premeditated? No, I do think it was in the moment. I think he has the potential to not really think through his actions sometimes. Will he be okay? I think he'll be all right. For some reason, I don't know. Like, I think his spirit team, I think he is protected in some sense. And I do think his spirit team is going to be there to make sure, you know, that he gets the help that he needs. And yeah, like I said, I'm not trying to be insensitive, but also I want everybody to understand that we do not, we like, the world doesn't owe you sympathy, especially when you said F you to damn near half the world. Like, we can't, you know what I mean? So it's like, a part of me feels so bad, but ooh, not that bad. Like, you know what I mean? Unfortunately, somebody is now deceased, but what are we supposed to do? You know what I mean? Good luck to him. I hope everything is okay, but let's not sit here and blame, like, blaming other people for this is crazy. We had nothing to do with that. Okay? People laughing at him has nothing to do with him now offing somebody. And oh, he should have got the help he needed. Y'all want to see a black man? Ugh, like, whenever they, oh, brother, like, the black man, like, girl, please. These black men do need to be in jail sometimes. Men, period, should be in jail sometimes. Like, they be doing some wild shit. And unfortunately, if you off somebody, I'm not saying he needs to be in jail, but he definitely needs to get the help that is necessary for him. Okay, so that's all I have to say. I hope y'all enjoyed this. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Like the video and let me know other people, things, or concepts y'all want me to do a reading on. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.